What is good, nation? Happy Monday, y'all. Y'all already know what time it is. We're going to go ahead and get into it tonight. For damn sure, there's a lot of things happening right now. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Here we go.
J Raider, the creator with the killer content, hot takes and the dopest. Gas Raider Nation, from Oakland to LA to Vegas. Nothing greater than the Raiders, only facts. Just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders. Stand up, just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders. Welcome to the channel. It's called Just Raiders, baby. If you ain't subscribed, then you gotta try. Just Raiders, baby, nothing but love for the Raiders. Been an OG before 93. Shout out to the nation, they always crazy. So nation, ride with me, taking over my style. It's amazing, making hits like Max on the blitz. The silver and black, on the attack. They on the map, if you a fan and you with that. J Raider, the creator with the killer content, hot takes and the dopest. Gas Raider Nation, from Oakland to LA to Vegas. Nothing greater than the Raiders, only facts. Just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders, J Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders. Putting on shows like Brock on the go. We just like J Raider, the innovator, making shows like Good Morning Raiders, the originator. Raiders Unfiltered, raw, never censored. The post game reaction, nothing but action. Just Raiders, baby. Just Raiders. Just Raiders, baby. J Raider, the creator with the killer content. Hot takes and the dopest, yes. Raider Nation, the only nation. There ain't no question.
Just win, baby.
Win, baby.
Just win.
What's good, Raider Nation? Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Raiders Unfiltered. I am your host. I am Jay Raider. If you guys haven't done so, make sure you guys head on over, hit that subscribe button, hit those likes on your boy. Help support the show, help support the channel. It does help to go ahead and get the show out to the YouTube universe. You already know what time it is. Appreciate you guys pulling up and rocking with me on this Monday night. As usual, I am back. Didn't do a Raiders Unfiltered the other week because of the holiday, but I'm back. If you guys missed it, I had a Good Morning Raiders the other day. Shout out to Apakasi Raider, my guy, all the way down in Perth, Australia. He pulled up. He was my guest for Good Morning Raiders. That was a fire show. If you guys missed it, make sure you guys hit that link that's down below in the description after the show to go ahead and catch that episode of Good Morning Raiders with my guy, Afakasi Raider, and myself chopping up in regards to the head coaching search and the current status of the number one pick and who we should go after and all the draft talk that goes along with it. But tonight, y'all already know we got some shit to talk about. So let me go ahead and kick this thing off. You already know. Raiders head coach search continues. As you guys know, hey, we're on week 3 now of the head coach search, and it hasn't even let up. You know, we thought, hey, it's probably gonna go ahead and maybe die down. It's gonna be a little bit boring, but it has not been. As of that, today has been crazy. A lot of rumors flying around. We're going to go ahead and discuss that tonight for sure. So, again, appreciate you guys pulling up. Let me go ahead and tap in with the chat before I go ahead and start going through all this news and rumors. You already know. Shout out to Raider Paul in the building. My guy already with the Raiders. Yes, sir. Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Shout out to Jack in the building. What is good, my guy? Appreciate you pulling up. Sacktown Raider Mike in the building. What is the deal? Salute, salute. Shout out to Troy Gill in the building. What is good, my guy? Cool Kev. What's good, brother? Salute to you. Marcus Banks. What is good, my guy? Thank you for pulling up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see here. And salute to everybody else pulling up and rocking with me on this Monday night. Hopefully, you guys are at the crib already. You guys are done with work. If not, hopefully, you guys are on the way home. But if you guys are getting ready to go ahead and pull that midnight shift, hey, I'm with you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully, this can make the night go by a little bit faster. If you're on that night shift, if you're on that overnight shift, I feel your pain, man. I've been there, done that, and twice over, all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it. Again, Raiders head coach search continues. Today has been a whirlwind of rumors just literally flying around. But let's go ahead and go over the current candidates are still available. Um, Currently available, Mike LaFleur. You already know, Klint Kubiak. Klint Kubiak literally won the NFC Championship last night in Seattle. Congratulations to the Seahawks, to Klint. Going ahead and clinching the conference championship and making their trip over to the Super Bowl, to Super Bowl 60. Davis Webb, quarterback coach of the Denver Broncos, available. We're going to go ahead and talk about him tonight for sure. Joe Brady, available as well. McDaniels, I know I got in parentheses. And we're going to go ahead and talk about McDaniels in just a second as well. We need to go ahead and talk about that dude for sure. We got some other guys still in the mix as well that I don't have pulled up here. You still got Chris Shula. Ejiro Evero is still in the mix. Vance Joseph, Nate Shieldhouse is still available as well. The ones that are not, that literally just kind of took themselves out of the running, Clay Kubiak, younger brother of Klint Kubiak, is no longer in any type of running for a head coaching position. He is out. I believe also, let me see. I think that's the only one Ed from my list that I got here. I could be wrong. There might be another guy. But as of right now, Clay Kubiak, younger brother of Klint Kubiak, is out of the running for any head coach hires here. But obviously, we had Mike McDaniel was interested in possibly coming on board, and I don't know, could still be there. It's still that possibility to go ahead and leave that position, but Chargers did make it official today. They went ahead and publicly announced their new offensive coordinator today. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So Chargers making it official. They're announcing Mike McDaniel as their official official offensive coordinator as of today. Now, what does that mean? Because I know there might be a couple of Mike McDaniel supporters in the chat, on the stream watching. Could still be a possibility. He decides, you know what? Raiders are making me an offer to go ahead and come in as the head coach. I'm going to go ahead and take that offer. Could happen. What's the likelihood of that actually happening? I don't know. Honestly, we don't know. There's a lot of things going on right now that are happening literally as we speak. It is crazy, crazy, nasty work going on right now. But we're having interviews. I'm pretty sure it's going on almost 6 o'clock in the West Coast in Las Vegas. So we should, if it's not going on already, should happen pretty soon. Davis Webb is going to be in the building. They're going to go ahead and conduct their second interview. We're going to go ahead and talk about that in just a bit as well. But for those who we don't know. Chargers making it official today. They have announced Mike McDaniel as their offensive coordinator. Could the Raiders go ahead and still pull a robbery? 100%. That could still happen. With the likelihood of that potentially happening, I don't know. It might be a low percentage of that actually happening. I don't know where Mike McDaniels officially ranks in their minds as far as a head coach candidate. I'm thinking maybe he's plan C or D. If I'm using that alphabet system to go ahead and rank these guys, he might be plan C or D. We don't know, right? But I'm pretty sure, and if an offer is made that he can't refuse, I don't think he'll be able to go ahead and refuse it. So, um, and obviously, it's going to be a step up as opposed to being offensive coordinator down in San Diego or LA, whatever these guys play at. These guys suck. To me, they're the San Diego Chargers still. But either way, these guys have made it official as of today. Um, let's go ahead and continue on really quick. Shout out to my guy, Raider Food Chris, one of my mods here at Just Raider. Salute, brother. Thank you for pulling up. My guy, 805 Raider in the building. What is the deal, my guy? Salute to you. Thank you for pulling up. We're just talking about the head coach search. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can go ahead and kind of read into some shit tonight. Because honestly, I know there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of rumors flying around, and we're gonna go ahead and get into all that. So um, let's go ahead and pull up. Let me start off with this. Let me go ahead and start off with the second interviews conducted. There were some second interviews conducted, and still some about to go ahead and start in a bit, if not already. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Hang on one second. There we go. All right. So one of those being today, Joe Brady. Joe Brady had his second interview today. Um, that has been done. He came in to go ahead and do his second interview. Again, um, good potential candidate to me. He was probably like fourth or fifth on my list. I do like the guy. A lot of people were high on him. Um, my first thought was that he was potentially going to stay in Buffalo. That hasn't happened. I don't think there's an offer really made in Buffalo. Buffalo's still trying to figure out. They're in a whole world of of shit right now. Let me just tell you that you know, if you guys think we're dysfunctional, I think these guys have taken the lead on that this off season as of right now. But they're trying to figure their shit out right now. But as for us, we have concluded the second interview with Joe Brady. Don't know where he's going to really fall into as far as um, either coming in for a head coaching position or anything farther down the trough, which is most likely offensive coordinator. I doubt I doubt he takes a lateral move because that just doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure he's going to stay in Buffalo unless either he gets made the head coach or they bring in a new guy and they clip Joe Brady, which that would not be a smart move on their part. But they haven't been making smart moves this offseason, so who knows, right? But that second interview has concluded today. Also in that mix, um, Raiders also meeting with Brian Dable tonight in Las Vegas. Let me go ahead and pull that up. They are meeting with him tonight. Now, this kind of just literally popped in the last, I don't know, 2 hours or less. This literally was broken out by different media outlets. This one from Alexa Belcastro, putting it out there. Shout out to my guy Raider Resistance. If you don't follow Raider Resistance, make sure you guys head on over, give my guy a follow. Not only on IG but on X. For everybody watching on X right now, make sure you guys go ahead and head on over, give my guy a follow on X. But Brian Dable, interesting. Meeting with the Raiders tonight with the front office. What does that mean, right? He's not the only one that's going to be in the building. So let's go ahead and talk about that, right? But very interesting move that the Raiders decided to go ahead and bring in Brian Dable as well to go ahead and interview. But um, I think here also the second person, I'm sorry, the third person for their second interview today is going to be Davis Webb. He is going to be also in the building today, interviewing with the front office. Raiders making aggressive moves right now. Very interesting, and I say aggressive because that last minute by Brian Dable. I don't know if he was in town. I don't know what the whole situation there was, but very interesting that they're deciding to go ahead and do that interview tonight along with Davis Webb. Also doing an interview. So, but a lot of let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and talk about the rumors. Y'all already know what time it is. It's rumor time.
Love rumors. Facts can be so misleading. Were rumors true or false are often revealing.
Rumors. So it is very much trending right now that there could be a possible head coach uh hire sometime this week or very soon. Um Adam Schefter putting out earlier today that um you know there's a couple candidates for the Raiders, one of them being Davis Webb, but Clint Kubiak was not mentioned in that census. So I don't know what this deal. So now that is starting to trend with possibly Davis Webb being brought on as a head coach. Um, as you guys know, if you guys watched the games yesterday, Denver eliminated from the playoffs. They went ahead and lost their AFC championship game by 3 points. So they're out. They're done. Two and done. Two and done. They're out. So what does that mean? Potentially, we can go ahead and make an offer to Davis Webb if that is a guy that they are keen on. If that's a guy that they want to go ahead and bring in and literally take this team and really move it forward into possibly some prosperity in the future. But what do you guys think about this? Do you guys like Davis Webb potentially coming in as the next head coach? Are you guys not for it? Are you guys mixed feelings? Let me know down in the chat. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with me on this Monday night. We're gonna go ahead and really deep dive into this thing because man, it's just crazy. That's what I've been seeing all day. Davis Webb this, Davis Webb that. I don't know, right? I'm gonna tell you guys my take before I go ahead and sign off on what you guys what you guys thoughts on this whole situation. Again, you guys let me know your thoughts. Would you guys be open to having Davis Webb as our next head coach? Are you guys totally opposed to this? Are you guys mixed feelings about this? Let me know what you guys feel. For me, I am very mixed about this. There's some concerns that I have in regards to bringing this man in as our head coach. Biggest thing, the biggest flag is that he has not held any type of coordinator position as far as like an offensive coordinator position. He has no real head coach experience in the NFL. I mean, some of the guys that we've been interviewing right now, prime example, Klint Kubiak, no head coaching experience. Given that this guy's been uh, offensive coordinator for a very long time, has success in multiple places, multiple teams. Literally, he's going to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. A favorite to go ahead and win the Super Bowl. They played a very great. They played a really good game last night versus the Rams, a very tough team in Seattle. So, but you have a guy like Davis Webb, hasn't had that experience quarterback, literally a quarterback coach. I think he's like the pass game coordinator or something like that. Hasn't really called a whole lot of plays from what I've heard. He's called very minimal plays. I think they gave him a couple games to really call like a full game. But in retrospect to a guy like Clint Kubiak, it's like a drop in the bucket, right? That's like a drop of water in the bucket. It's it's not a whole lot. Um, this is my thing. We just came off a couple of years ago bringing in a very a young raw coach who didn't have a whole lot of experience, and that didn't turn out too well. So, um, I feel that this is going to be something very similar to that. And if you guys don't know who I'm talking about Antonio Pierce, right? And I liked Antonio Pierce, but the thing is, this guy he didn't have a whole lot of experience coaching. I think he was the linebacker coach for about 2 or 3 years. He's had a lot of college experience, collegiate experience. Obviously, he was at Arizona State, but prior to that, this was his real stint in the NFL, and then he got put as interim, and then eventually he got given the nod. Brought all these guys to come in and help him, you know, really run this team. And again, we didn't know who was calling the shots. We didn't know who was making the decisions. And he spoke openly in many pressers saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, I mean, you're the head coach, man. I mean, why isn't it getting done? Let your offensive coordinator know. Let your defensive coordinator know. Let your coordinator know what you want to go ahead and run. And he was having a very difficult time, especially on the offensive side, trying to really go ahead and, you know, try to run the things that he wanted to run. So for me, at least, I'm very trepidatious on a guy like Davis Webb because it's going to be very similar to that effect. Now, I could be totally wrong. It could be totally different from that. 100% could be totally different from that. This guy can come in, build a great staff, build the right staff, and it could work out. But again, we don't know, right? Now, if this could be a second interview where they approach Brian Dable, because again, both of them are going to be at headquarters roughly about the same time. If not the same time, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys I got inside sources or any shit like that. That's not who I am. I don't got any pull like that. Hey, I'm just a dude with a YouTube channel. That's who I am. I'm gonna give you my opinion, but if I have to read the tea leaves, it's very conspicuous that both of these guys are gonna be in the building very either at the same time or very close to one another in time. So if they were to go ahead and make an offer to a guy like Davis Webb and decide to go ahead and bring in Brian Dable, if Davis Webb decides, hey, you know what, I am definitely good with Brian Dable coming in and being my offensive coordinator, it would make me feel a little bit better. But again, this is a big flyer for this front office taking a chance on Davis Webb. Now, look, I'm not going to shed on the guy either because I've heard a lot of good things too. He's very innovative. He's a smart guy. He's very analytical. They were very impressed with his first interview. Not only the Raiders, but there's this is also coming from other teams. So, with that being said, um, you know, would we have a young, innovative coach coming in who's offensive minded? Yes, we would, 100%. But would that obviously equate success in year two or year three? Because again, I want to remind everybody, even whoever we bring in, if it's Kubiak, if it's Webb, if it's Dable, if it's whoever, right? We're not going to have success year one. It's not going to be that. This is going to be a long term project. This is a big project to undertake. You're essentially having to replace 21 starting positions, something like that, and you're having to go ahead and also manage a draft. You have to think about whether or not you're going to go ahead and pick this kid out of Indiana as your franchise quarterback at number one with the number one overall pick, or are you going to trade this back? So there's a lot of things. This is a big undertaking, right? This is not going to everything for it to really for us to see any type of progression. We're not going to really see until that second year, third year. Third year, honestly, is really where you can start making those assessments. But um, could this really translate for Davis Webb's to have success here in Las Vegas? I don't know. I don't know. I just know if we're going down the same path we just got done doing 2 years ago with Antonio Pierce, with a person who doesn't have a whole lot of experience, um, as far as having head coaching experience, having a coordinator experience. How is that really going to go ahead and relate? Are we going to see the same thing? There's probably going to be a good chance. I could be wrong. Definitely could be wrong, but I don't know. Again, you guys let me know what you guys think down below. But if you guys don't know, Davis Webb is having his second interview tonight in Las Vegas alongside Brian Dable. Brian Dable is also in the building. He will be in the building having his second interview as well. I don't know. Could we hear something happen tonight? Could we hear something happen, early tomorrow morning? Or are the Raiders going to go ahead and wait and roll the dice and possibly wait a little bit longer for somebody else to potentially see if they are available, if they're going to be a good fit? But really quick, let me go ahead and hit up the chat again. Appreciate you guys rocking with me on this Monday night. Raiders Unfiltered. Appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit those likes on your board. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Let's see here. All right. Let me go back to the chat. I kind of lost my place. All right. Raceful Chris says Webb head coach Brian Dable could very much happen. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Very, very peculiar that both of these guys are interviewing tonight. Now, it could just be a coincidence. It could not be a coincidence. Don't know. But normally, were you having two guys coming out roughly around the same time? There's some fucking sirens going off. There's some flags going off. So I don't know. We'll see what transpires from there. Troy Gill, he says, if Brady and Spatek are on Webb, then I'm okay with it. Welcome to Raider Nation. Shout out to Troy. He says Kubiak is staying with the Seahawks. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. WQ G45 in the building. Salute, brother. Brian Flores, I believe, is the best coach for the Raiders. He'll bring structure for the team. If they do not pick up Brian Flores, they're going to have another losing season. I think Flores is staying in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't even interviewed him. And I thought that's a guy that we're going to go ahead and put in a press, but we haven't even done that. So I don't know, brother. I don't think that's even the realm of possibility as of right now. Let's see here. The West, yeah, roughly. Honestly, I think we have about 21 free agents that can hit the market. Roughly have to replace about maybe 15 to 18 positions, something like that. It's a tall order. That's why you're having a lot of things come out saying, we need to go ahead and get draft. A lot of people saying we need to go ahead and get all the draft capital we need to go ahead and fill in these positions, this year, and so on and so forth. When you're having so many positions of need, it could seem like that, but there's nothing that There's nothing that says that you have to go ahead and do that right off the bat, year one. And I'm talking about with prime talent. You obviously have to fill the positions. That's a given. But my thing is this: there's so much capital, there's so much draft, there's only so much draft capital, there's only so much cap space, so much money that you can go ahead and spend. Obviously, the immediate needs going to be offensive line. That has to be go ahead and address first and foremost in free agency. Whether you're going to get two, three guys, you can get a guy. You need to go ahead and be aggressive. Spy Tech and Brady have to be very aggressive in this free agency to go ahead and address this offensive line. We failed to do that last year. Literally, what we had to go ahead and show for was Alex Kappa. That's it. That's a real big offensive splash we did. Offensive line splash we did last year in free agency. We didn't do much. So there's a couple guys that might hit free agency. Um, definitely need to go ahead and look at if they do. We should be definitely aggressive to go ahead and read those guys in for sure, 100%. With obviously the blessing, whoever's going to be the next head coach, which most likely will be an offensive minded coach. Um, I doubt it's going to be a defensive minded coach from everything that I kind of been seeing, but you never know. I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to be Jesse Mentor, late last week. That didn't happen. So here we are now. Let's see here. Kubiak says, "Is Webb a yes man?" I know Dable is. I don't know, man. I don't know. I couldn't see. I've heard that he's he could be opinionated, but I don't know, man. No, to be honest with you, all I know for sure is that he's very innovative. He's a smart dude. He could definitely go ahead and put an offense together. But again, we haven't really seen anything to base his work off aside from uh, Bo Nix and Jared Stidham. Even Jared Stidham didn't even look great last night. So, but Bo Nix, and what the year, 2 years now, second year, he got him to the AFC Championship game before he got fucked up. I don't know. So if this move is made, obviously it's gonna spell heavy that the Raiders are most likely gonna go after Fernando Mendoza, right? They want to bring in a guy who can definitely work with young quarterbacks, who's proven in that area. But this is a thing also, you can't it's not just around one particular player. You got to also think about the whole team as a whole. You have to be able to go ahead and put a great staff together. You have to be able to go ahead and manage all three phases of the game. And if you miss a step, if you're not able to go ahead and catch it and really dictate um, the type of play you want to go ahead and make, that's gonna be a big thing. He's gonna be struggling. So I just don't know about that guy yet. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if him and Dable are good, they're on the same page. I forgot if they have. I think they have a prior relationship, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they might be good. But I can tell you yes for sure. Um, Cool Kev says I would gamble on Kubiak. This is Vegas. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about that for sure. The West says we got some pieces in place. We just need to hit in the draft, hopefully get some young talent through free agency and some strong bets on the O line. Yes, for sure, 100%. And that's the thing, we can get a couple season guys. Tyler Lindenbaum, center for the Ravens, most likely is going to be out of free agency. Ravens did not elect to pick up his 5th-year option. They're most likely going to let him test the free agency market. We're going to see if that happens and the Ravens fail to go ahead and snatch him up. This is where Spy Tech needs to go ahead and be aggressive and try to get this dude, because this guy's been a center for about 6 years now. I think JPJ has only been a center for 2 years or 3 years now. I think this is his third year. Um, the last year of college, he played full time center. Obviously, the year prior, he played center for like half of the season, and then this season he didn't play anything at all. He was at guard, but he can't play. He's a Remington Award winner. So is Tyler Lindenbaum. He's just been doing at the position and in the league at the highest level for a much longer time. He's a pretty solid guy. So I haven't seen a whole lot of tape on him, so I can't speak like too much on it. But that would definitely boost up our offensive line for sure. Also, a guy that again, rumor, don't know if this is going to happen. Heard that Chargers may or may not part ways with Mekhi Becton. If that's the case, if he hits free agency, definitely got to go ahead and go after the guy. I wish that we were able to go ahead and get the guy. We did not even, I don't know if we even made any attempt to go ahead and contact Mekhi Becton as far as a possibility, any interest for the Raiders or coming over or anything like that. So hopefully this year that is different if that were to happen. Now, again, don't know. Again, this is all rumors. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens for sure. Tyler A in the building. Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Davis Webb will make sense with Mendoza. It definitely would. But again, my thing is this: the inexperience, at the level of inexperience worries me. It really does. Okay, not that just he has no head coach experience. We kind of all know going into this after Pete was clipped, we kind of knew the next guy probably is not going to have any head coach experience. We get that, but most likely is going to be some type of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, somewhere around the league, right? So the thing with David Webb is he has no offensive coordinator experience. It's not like he was an offensive coordinator somewhere else prior, and he's just a quarterback coach right now in the past. I think he's like the pass game coordinator. That's not the case. That's all he's. This is like the highest level he's been at. The thing is that he's regarded as a very talented, very innovative guy. We saw what he was able to do with Bo Nix in 2 seasons. So yeah, but it worries me. It just depends. Hopefully, he has. If they decide to go ahead and move with this guy, if that's a guy, he has a really, really strong plan in place to go ahead and really build a really great coaching staff because that's what you're going to need. That you have to be able to make up for that inexperience somewhere. So hopefully that's the case. But let me go ahead and continue on. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with me on this Monday night. Make sure you guys hit those likes on your boy. Help me to go ahead and get out to the YouTube algorithm. Appreciate you guys tapping in. But I did want to go ahead and post this up. Well, let's go ahead and get into this part. All right. So we talked about Daboll. We talked about Davis Webb. They're doing the interviews tonight. I believe Klint Kubiak is scheduled to meet sometime later this week with the brass. I don't know if I heard rumors that rumors that Brady wanted to meet with Kubiak yesterday at the game. I don't know how true that is. I don't think that the likelihood of that being true, I don't think is kind of unlikely. They just won the NFC Championship game. They're going to go ahead and celebrate and whatnot. So I don't know if they got to meet or any capacity or any official capacity, I should say. Maybe it was a conversation. Don't know. Who knows, right? But I believe that they're going to go ahead and officially have him come into the building sometime this week. Now, this is the thing because he's already done the initial first interview virtually. He's able to go ahead and do the second interview in the building. That is the rules per the NFL. They're able to go ahead and bring in the guys to go ahead and do in-person interview only if they've done the initial interview. That's the rule. If they have not done a preliminary interview, they cannot go into a building. I think they have to wait. I think they could still do the virtual interview. I don't think they can go ahead or I don't know. I don't think they can go ahead until. I don't think they can do an interview until after the Super Bowl if they haven't done an initial one. I think they still have to wait. I looked it up. I just don't remember. I just wanted to know about this particular part. But Kubiak can be in the building. They can come in. They can bring him in. They can go ahead and talk to him and see. Now, the only thing they cannot do, they cannot they cannot go ahead and make an official offer to him. Um, they can't make any type of official offer to Clint Kubiak until after the Super Bowl. That's when they can go ahead and do that. As of right now, all they can go ahead and do is do some type of gentleman's agreement. Um, that's all they could do. That their hands are kind of tied at this point. Could that score have been a little bit more? Yes, that big penalty by Tyreek Woolen fucked that up. They were able to go ahead and cook them the next play, right? And that's why they got so close. But it could have been a 10-point win as opposed to 3 points or 4 points, excuse me. And but he was just Rams are a tough team. It was very back and forth, different type of game than the Pats and the Broncos played early in that day, right? They had their fucking snowball up in Denver. Crazy storms happening here, so you already know Midwest and East Coast getting hit hard with snow. I didn't think it was going to snow in Denver, and all of a sudden they had a fucking blizzard. But either way, Clint Kubiak had a really, really good game yesterday. So my thing is this: I've been sorry guys, I'm thirsty. So my thing is this: I've been pretty high with Clint Kubiak. He's my one B. Mike LaFleur is still up there for me. To be honest with you, I just like Mike LaFleur. He comes from the Shanahan tree. Um, and that's something that's very appealing. But obviously, we talked about the drawback with Michael Thor. We don't know who's really calling the plays. Is it really Sean McVay? Is it really him? Is it a combination of both? So that's the thing that's kind of hard to determine. But with Clint, we know we know who's running the show over there. We know whose offense that is. We know that he's had success and almost every place he's gone to. I think the only team really was the Jets. He had a really bad year there, but you know when Carr was there, I think for the first that half of the season up until that point where he first got injured, I was lining it up. We look at um, we're looking at what he's able to go ahead and do with the current quarterback. He's able to go ahead and turn around. Obviously, we're talking about whether or not we were going to even possibly bring him in. And I remember doing the shows last year. Was we were talking about Sam Darnold and whether or not we're going to go ahead and go after him, right? And I said no. I said no. I'm like that guy is kind of unreliable. You know, when the pressure was on, when he had to go ahead and take command of the game, especially that game I remember with the Rams when they played in Arizona during those wildfires. He flopped. He flopped. He flopped completely, and um, he did not look good. He did not look good. But fast forward to this year, he's been pretty solid all season long up into this point. And again, got a pretty good game versus the Rams to able to go ahead and move on to the Super Bowl. So, how much is that Clint Kubiak? I think that's a pretty good amount of Clint Kubiak for him to be able to go ahead and show that confidence in Sam Darnold to better his decision making technique. His decision making in general. Um, That's something that would definitely go ahead and be a benefit to a guy like Fernando Mendoza if Fernando Mendoza is going to be the guy going into this, 2026 NFL draft, which most likely it is. Um, and if not, it's very, very well portrayed that it's going to be Fernando. Um, and it should be. Whether Spytek and Brady are sold on them or not, they should be putting it out there that Mendoza is going to be the guy. Because if you're going to trade back, yeah, you're going to have to go ahead and get as much draft capital as you need. But um, aside for Fernando, we've been having so many issues offensively. We do need somebody in here offensive minded to be able to go ahead and turn around and really fix this offense. And obviously, we just talked about it. Our offensive line is one of the biggest issues that we know needs to be addressed this offseason. So, um, do all these guys need to be replaced? No, they don't. We have obviously we have Colton Miller has been solid. JPJ, we know what he's able to do. Go ahead and do. We have some gems in Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant. Um, DJ Glaze, I don't know. Honestly, on the fence about this guy. He regressed in a big way this year, but how much is that? Is the coaching? How much is that? Is him? Um, you know, I feel that honestly, a lot of it could be a tribute to coaching. I think if he were to have really solid coaching, he may have not regressed as much, or maybe he was able to go ahead and fix the issues that he had going on throughout the season. Maybe be able to go ahead and turn around either before the halfway point or at the halfway point to have a better second half of the season. We've seen this happen in other players, but him having a really good year one, not having a really bad year two, um, it goes to show, right? But we still have him because he's still there. Worst case scenario, we have him deaf piece. Best case scenario, either we're able to go ahead and fix the issue and keep him at right tackle, or potentially move him to guard, right to right guard. That could also be a possibility as well. It just depends what the head coach wants to do. Whoever wants to come, whoever's going to be the guy, they want to go ahead and address that position. But either way, Clint Kubiak is going to be. I feel that he's a strong candidate to go ahead and be the guy. Now, this is the thing: are the Raiders willing to go ahead and make that gamble to go ahead and wait for him until after the Super Bowl? 2 weeks is a very long time. 2 weeks. You have to do, there's a lot of things they have to do um, in order for you to go ahead. I think they have to go ahead and wait, I think 3 days after the Super Bowl. So I think 3 days after the Super Bowl, they can officially go ahead and make an offer if they're going to go ahead and wait for Clint. If they basically come to like a gentleman's agreement saying like, hey, yeah, I'm down to go ahead and come in and take over and be the head coach, win or lose, I'll come in. If that's the case, then I'm feel very confident they're going to go ahead and wait. If there's anything other than that type of statement, you might see a move like this where they might go ahead and get Davis Webb, or they might get Davis Webb and Brian Dable as those guys. I don't know. A lot of shit could happen. So again, I believe Clint Kubiak is scheduled to go ahead and meet sometime later this week with the front office for his second in-person interview. He's able to go ahead and come into the building and do that in person now that he's on that bye week. He's already done the initial interview with the Raiders. They're able to go ahead and bring him in and do that in person. So obviously, be looking out for that. As of right now, I haven't seen anything yet in regards to Davis Webb. So that's where we're at right now. They're scheduled to go ahead and do their interview tonight, along with Brian Dable also in the building. Don't know if they're going to do that together. Then I don't know if they're going to do that separately. Again, I'm not going to tell you here that I got sources and and tell you that this guy is most likely going to be the guy. Don't know. It could go very much either way, but it's very peculiar that they brought in Brian Dable tonight to also conduct an interview. There's his second interview with Davis Webb in the building. So you guys can make your own decision from there. But I don't know. Got to read the tea leaves. If it's pointing one way, if it smells like shit, it looks like shit, it might be shit. So we'll see what happens. But again, could there be a head coach later this week? Could definitely be. Again, what do you guys think about Davis Webb? What do you guys think about Klint Kubiak? Who do you guys want to see as your next head coach? Make sure you guys go ahead, put it down in the description again, in the chat if you guys are watching. If you guys are watching the replay later on, put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys want to see as the next Raiders head coach? Again, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe on your boy. Does help to go ahead and put out the show and really grow the show into the YouTube algorithm for sure, 100%. But again, to me, making this type of move, if they decide to go with Davis Webb, it will be definitely to go ahead and really compliment Fernando Mendoza if Fernando's going to be the guy that we go after at number one, or not. We can go after somebody else. We can trade back. There's a lot of different things that we can go ahead and do. You already know. You guys, if you guys tapped in on Saturday, we talked about that. We talked about you know, the number one pick. We talked about the draft, right? The draft talk. Talked about it earlier. There's a lot of positions that we have to fill, not only on the offensive line, but we still don't have a clear cut wide receiver one. Yes, got Brock Bowers, can play that role, but that's not his role, right? He's a tight end. He's a very, very elite tight end. But if we're able to go ahead and go out and really acquire a wide receiver one, would definitely change things, especially if you have a guy like Fernando Mendoza out there. You need to be able to go ahead and provide as many weapons as you can, but not only that, you still have the defensive side of the ball. Most of these guys at linebacker, they're probably going to be gone. Kuntz is probably going to be gone. I doubt he stays. If he does stay, it's probably going to be on a cheap deal. That's the only way I see him even staying. The secondary, maybe we keep Stokes. I wouldn't mind if we keep Eric Stokes. He played pretty well this season. Porter's not going anywhere. He's still on that rookie deal. Secondary, a lot of those guys are not going to be around. So, special team guys. So there's a lot of dudes that are probably not going to be here. When it comes down to it, obviously we got we still got our guy Tyree. He's going to be on his last year of his rookie deal. I think they're just going to go ahead and keep him on there, see how he does this year, and if he continues to progress, maybe they'll keep him on. But this guy has 9 lives. I thought that he was going to get the axe this past season. Didn't happen. He's still here, and he had some better games. But in my opinion, I wouldn't keep him. But again, that's not our decision to make. I don't know if he did enough to impress Spytek, and whoever comes in the next potential defensive coordinator. Are they going to be impressed with his body of work and decide to go ahead and keep him around for that last year of his rookie deal? I doubt they extend. I really doubt, and I'll be surprised if they do. I would be actually upset if they kind of do. I like for him to go ahead and play out that, at least if they don't get rid of him, at least play that last rookie year, rookie year deal, to see what he's able to go ahead and do this last year, and and if and I would say like we can go ahead and trade him, but we're like if we're able to go ahead and get a bag of chips at this point for that dude. So I don't know. Shout out to my guy Raiders fool Chris in the building. Salute, brother. I want Kubiak, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up like last year with Ben Johnson. Facts, my guy. Facts. Me neither, man. Me neither. So this is the thing. Like, would I be totally opposed if they decide to go ahead and bring in? They say, "Hey, we're gonna go with Davis Webb." I'm not gonna hate it. Not gonna hate it, but um, definitely not on my list. I'm very concerned. I'm be paying close attention to the guys who's going to go ahead and bring in the staff, the offensive, defensive coordinators. They're going to speak a lot of volume to how this team is kind of more or less going to look for this next season coming up. You can kind of tell with certain things. I mean, look, we thought we were going to have. Sometimes that's even skewed itself because look, we brought in Chip Kelly and we thought we were going to have a pretty decent year. That wasn't the case. 3-14. But it could it be even more disastrous than 3-14? Definitely could. But it just depends who he decides to go ahead and bring in as his coordinators and how they fill out that rest of the coaching staff for everybody on down for sure. And how they attack this free agency is also going to be a telltale sign. But if you're looking at it as a whole, it looks like the Raiders we're going to go ahead and go definitely be addressing this offense way more, right? It was very anemic this year, and that has to change in order for us to be able to eventually be a contender down the road. Next year is literally probably going to be the year where we start really making some noise. So, but it starts now. So, we'll see what happens with that. But yes, I like Kubiak. Hopefully, Kubiak could be. Hopefully, we wait for Kubiak and he's the guy. But again, you're taking such a big gamble because he can ultimately get an offer that he can't refuse, and he can stay in Seattle and run it back with them. And then where are we at this point? Could another team like the Bills go out and snatch Davis Webb? We could have had them. They have a spectacular year continuing on. Definitely could, right? And I wanted to go ahead and kind of put this up before I forget. Hang on a second. And this is kind of the betting odds. I'm a bet. Did I have that? Okay. No, sorry, I thought it was the betting odds, but um, hang on. I had it here. Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to find the right one. This is kind of a tracker here that we have that I found in regards to the head coaches. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, let me put this up. Okay, so this is kind of the offensive coaches again still available. Davis Webb, Matt Nagy, Clint Kubiak, Michael Floor, Nate Shieldhouse, Joe Brady, Brian Dable, and then defensive coaches Vance Nass, Idro Ivero, Chris Shula, and then the second round interviews in process. So Davis Webb and Dable, and then the other ones that are completed, Ejiro and Joe Brady. Joe Brady was done today. No longer available. Obviously, Harbaugh went to the Giants. Stefanski over to the Falcons. Jeff Hadley to the Dolphins. McDaniels took the offensive coordinator job over the Chokers. Minter went over to the Ravens. Flores stayed with the Vikings. That's why I said I think Brian Flores is staying in Minnesota, and then Clay Kubiak obviously staying with the Niners over with Shanahan. So this is kind of where we're at. Obviously, I think Clint. I think I saw the betting odds. Clint is still the favorite, but Davis Webb is right there with him. So he's not too far off. I think he was like plus 200 on the betting odds uh, for for Vegas and uh, for in Vegas to land in the next Raiders head coach position. So this is kind of what it looks like right now. But yeah, it literally probably what it boils down to is probably going to be between Davis Webb, Clint Kubiak. Even though I like Mike LaFleur, I haven't really heard too much. We heard some rumors again that he was high on the list. We've been seeing that all week long last week. Different guys popping up here and there. It's just you're just gonna have that um, until they announce the next head coach. That's just basically how it goes. So every little news is gonna be like the big news until the Raiders officially make somebody the head coach. That's how it's just really gonna go. So um, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and kind of jump on and talk about everything kind of going around in the league. Again, I haven't heard anything as of late in regards to Davis Webb's interview happening in Henderson alongside or in the same building as Brian Dable is also going to have an interview with the Raiders tonight. So, um, yeah, it's we'll see. We'll see if anything happens. Obviously, if it does, then I'll jump back on and we'll go ahead and talk about it. But um, yeah, if he's gonna be the dude again, I just hope that there's a really solid staff that gets put behind him to support this guy, to kind of make up a little bit for that lack of experience. It's again him not having coordinator experience previously. Um, it bothers me. It really concerns me. So I'm a little bit mixed feelings about this. I don't hate this completely, but I'm not going to be jumping for Joey either. You know, be like, all right, cool. I hope that it eventually comes out to kind of explain the decision behind that because I would like to know why. Why did you take a flyer on this guy who doesn't have a lot of experience? Yes, he might have wowed you in the interview. Yes, he might seem innovative, but the experience is just not there. What was it that made you go ahead and take that chance, right? So I think if we had to make up, if we had to go ahead and kind of use uh, an example, um, I think Sean McVay um, is probably an example of that. I think he had he didn't, I think aside from the Commanders, he didn't have a whole lot of experience. I think he was a offensive assistant coach for Tampa, and then he was a coordinator at with the Commanders before that, and then that kind of was it. So um, yeah, it'll be a big leap for him to come in from a QB coach slash passing coordinator to a head coach. Big jump. You know, I don't know. He's been under Peyton for the last couple of seasons, but um, how does that really translate over at this level? Big jump. So let's see what happens with that. Shout out to Greg in the building. Salute, brother. Thank you for pulling up. I'm not tripping on our process. Hopefully, our guy is Klint Kubiak heading forward. I'm hoping not for Dable as head coach. Facts, bro. And that's the thing. I think at this point, I kind of want to assume that Dable will be in as an offensive coordinator. If they choose Webb, I think that's going to be the pairing. I think that's probably been mentioned, and I think that's why he's there. Right? They're going to try to figure that part out. So we'll see. Again, nothing as of yet on whether or not on excuse me, Davis's Webb's interview. It's only 6:38 and Vegas. Depending where you guys are at, if you guys in Cali, you guys a different part of the U.S., if you guys abroad, you know, on my mountain, so they're an hour behind me. I knew he was just gonna fly in from Buffalo. He just did the interview with the Bills earlier today. He was gonna fly into Vegas, so he's probably gonna do that either now or within the next couple of hours. So we might hear something potentially later on, uh, you know, this evening if they decide to go ahead and make an offer now, not let him leave the building. That is definitely something that can go ahead and happen. Um, Let me see here. But yeah, I'm just again just trying to see if I find anything in regards to uh the interview going on, if anything has come out in regards to Davis Webb potentially coming in and being announced as the next head coach of the Raiders. Nothing again has been said yet, but they're doing their interviews. So, but just wanted to jump on, chop it up with you guys, letting you guys know what's going on around the league. Uh, I don't know if anybody has real sources, right? I'm not gonna say here or there. That's not my job. All I know is it's what sometimes what the Raiders put out is not always what it is. Sometimes it's misinformation or disinformation to go ahead and throw other teams off. And Spytek's a very crafted guy. That's why his name is Spytek. No, I'm just kidding. But they do that. They do that. So some of the things that might come out might be disinformation. I don't know. Unless you're Mark, Tom Brady, or John Spytek, and you're in the actual office knowing what's going on, like you're part of that inner circle, then and I think that circle is very, very tight. Not a lot of people around that. So, you know, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I would just, take some of the stuff that you guys are hearing, a little bit of a grain of salt. I wouldn't really jump in on it too much, but we would trust me when it happens, we'll know right away when it does happen. I'll be like, I'll kick off like wildfire for sure. And if it does, you already know I'll be back on. We'll go ahead and chop it up. We'll talk about it. And if it does happen within the next day or two, or they decide to go ahead and wait for Kubiak, if there's going to be a second interview where they bring him into the building, which I think they're scheduled to do that. Haven't seen anything specifically on a date where they're going to go ahead and bring him into the building. I just heard that they were looking to go ahead and do a second one in person with him. Now that he's advanced to the Super Bowl, they're able to go ahead and do that and meet with him in person. Um, Now that they've already conducted the first interview, he's moving out to the Super Bowl. They're able to go ahead and do that, but they just cannot formally make an offer to him as far as the head coaching position is concerned. So if there is any type of deal, it has to be a gentleman's agreement. The old handshake, we have the agreement type thing. It can't be really anything more than that until after the Super Bowl. Then win or lose, they can go ahead and make that offer. But they can meet with him now. They can check his temperature. If they like the guy, they like the guy. I feel like they like the guy. I think they want him. I think they're playing it very, very careful because they don't want a repeat of a Ben Johnson situation. So they have to go ahead and keep their options open. And I am totally in agreement for that. You have to have, so I keep saying you got to have plans A through fucking F at this point, because you just don't know what could happen. And we're already having rumors swirling that Klint might stay another year in Seattle. He might run it back with the Seahawks. Don't know. You know, I've heard that if they lose the Super Bowl, he might stay another year, run it back, try to go ahead and win it. Even if they win, I think that's also the other rumor that's out there. So it's just hard to gauge everything right now and what's fact, what's fiction. But again, these are all just rumors right now, so we don't know. My guy Greg, shout out to him. Let's see. Greg says, I'm also blocking out the Mendoza hate from certain Raider fans and Raider haters. I mean, look, I'll go on before I address that comment. Mendoza's a smart kid with a clean mind off the field and a game manager on the field. What is Sam Darnold, a game manager similar to Mendoza? Facts, bro. Facts. I think you don't need somebody who's super flashy. You need somebody who's highly efficient, somebody who's a great decision maker. Mendoza's that guy. I could see why some people may not be too high on him. But if you look at the whole body of work, the kid has worked hard and he has consistently progressed. And if you want to judge off one game, that Natty game, that is probably the best defensive team uh, in the country that they just played. Ohio State's like 1B. They're right there with them. And they went out and beat Ohio State, mind you. But they went out and faced a tough Miami Hurricanes, Bain, Messidor. They were trying to light that dude up. They lit him up a couple times. Guy came back. He was able to go ahead and make the big throws, make the smart decisions to not turn the ball over. And when the game was on the line, when the game counted, he was able to go ahead and put that fucking bitch in the end zone. And that's what you want from your guy. You want your leader of men, the guy who's gonna go out there, who's gonna bleed for you, the guy who says he's gonna die for you. You want that guy out there. I mean, look at what we just had. We just had Geno Smith. Not that. Opposite of that. It's just it's night and day. You can say what you want about kind of the way that the guy acts. He's a little bit dorky. He's a kid. He's only 22 years old. The guy is he's kind of conservative a little bit. He's very dedicated to his craft, and we joke around and whatnot, but hey, the guy wants something, he worked hard for it. He's now going to go into the NFL. That's a given. No matter whether we take him or not, that's going to happen. He worked hard he accomplished what he set out to do. So now, is that really going to translate to NFL level? Don't know. That's something we have to find out, right? But you can make the educated guess. You can make the fair assessment that it's probably going to work out with Mendoza. There's things that you have to go ahead and do to go also make that work, because it's not just him alone that's going to make that happen. You also have to build a supporting cast. We have to go ahead and build an offensive line, give this guy some weapons. Luckily, we already have Brock Bowers. We have Ashton Genty. Jury's still a little bit out on Ashton Genty, but there is definitely some flash there. There's definitely potential there. You cannot say no, there's no potential. There's definitely potential on Ashton Genty, whether you're high on him or you're not. The kid has talent. He was able to do a lot of things with this bad offensive line that normally a lesser running back wouldn't be able to do. So just those are little things that you got to keep in mind, So either way, With me, just looking at it objectively, I feel we need to address the position. I think that he is the best candidate right now to go ahead and address that need. If he would, if I felt that he wasn't as good, if it was maybe Dante Moore, I would say no, let's trade that shit back. And that's not me saying I don't like Dante Moore because I do like Dante Moore, and I'm kind of disappointed that he did not declare, but it's okay. That's a whole other show in itself. But um, either way, if it was like Dante Moore, then I'll be like, okay, then let's kind of think about this. Let's just go ahead and pump the brakes a bit. We might have to look at different options, right? But this guy, he's really solid. He's really solid. Look at you guys do your research, do your homework. Don't take my word for it. Do your thing. Go look at the Cal tape. That game versus Miami when he played at Cal, they almost won that game. He looked fucking crisp. He looked good in that fucking game. They only had one interception in that game, and they almost beat Miami. A Cal team with less fucking talent almost beat Miami. Lost by a point. I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, Miami Hurricanes have a lot of defensive players going pro, early round prospects. Yep, for sure. They have a lot of good talent, bro. My guy Raiders Fools Chris, he says, I was one of the few last offseason saying we should sign Sam Darnold. Look at him now on the verge of a ring. This is my thing with that, bro. Sam Darnold doesn't suck, but Sam Darnold needed a guy like Klint Kubiak, if that makes sense. He needed a guy like Klint Kubiak to be able to go ahead and really, take him under his wing, finesse him, give him that confidence. And that's what fucking Klint he built a good system around Sam Darnold. Would that have happened with Chip Kelly and with Pete? I don't think so. I don't think that would have happened. I don't think that success that he has now would have translated over to the team. This is sometimes that we have to kind of think about that. The situation, the environment does also matter. So if you don't have a good environment, you don't have a good situation, and we're not able to go ahead and address the things that we did. So we didn't address that offensive line. Don't tell me Alex Cappa was going to be the fucking end all be all, was going to help us boost up this offensive line, because we know damn well it wasn't. But the way that we operated last season, if we would have decided to go ahead and sign Sam Darnold off of free agency and not go get Geno, it probably wouldn't have been the same thing. That dude would have got fucked up for real. But I know what you were saying. I know he like I said earlier, that game with the Rams last year when they played in Arizona, they played in neutral ground by you. So the home field advantage got slightly taken away a little bit, slightly. But Sam Darnold just literally flopped that game. He just did not show up that game, and that was a game that he needed to go ahead and step up. The prior game before that, same thing. I think they're playing. They had played Detroit for the number 1 seed. They could have won. They couldn't gotten top seed and got that bye week. Fucked up. Were not able to go ahead and get that win. A lot of it was Sam Darnold. Don't ask me to tell you. I can look up the stats, but I don't know offhand. But it was not good. I saw both of those games. So Sam Darnold, for him to go this next year into Super Bowl, he needed a guy like Klint Kubiak, and that speaks volumes to a guy like Klint Kubiak. So, I agree with you, but he needed a guy like Klint Kubiak to find the way to find that success he did now. Now if let's say Klint was our coach last year and Sam Darnold was available like he was, cool. Then that would make better sense, because he probably would have been making a way bigger push to go ahead and address that offensive line. And he would have probably had a better supporting cast. I don't know, but we had gone into the playoffs. Probably not. That's a long stretch, but that made more sense. But appreciate you, my guy. My guy, Raider Mike in the building. Davis Webb is going to be our head coach. We'll see, brother. As of right now, I have not heard anything. If you just tapped in, he's him and also Brian Dable are at headquarters. They will be doing their second interview tonight. Don't know if they're going to be doing it together. If it's going to be a separate thing, don't know. Don't know. But we'll see. Hang on one second. Okay, here let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Adam Schefter just tweeted this now. Raiders have now completed a second interview with Broncos past game coordinator Davis Webb for the head coach opening, and that is it. That's it. That's all that has been said. So, again, Adam Schefter putting it out there, just tweeting it like 5 minutes ago. Raiders have now just completed the second interview with Broncos past game coordinator Davis Webb for their head coaching opening. So we'll see if anything is announced within the next few minutes, hour, whatever. Nothing has been said. That's where we're at. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Shout out to my guy Anthony in the building. Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Greg says Mendoza will black out the stadium and fans will buy tickets to stop having opposing teams take over a stadium. I don't know, man. I don't know. Will there be more fan attendance? I believe so. That 15 jersey, if he most likely takes that 15, that's gonna fly off the shelves for sure, man. So, but yeah, I think it's probably gonna be Mendoza. We get at number one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so again, Adam Schefter just put out a tweet a few minutes ago. They just went ahead and concluded their second interview with Davis Webb. Don't know if he's still in the building or not, but as of right now, they completed that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And in a bit, we're gonna have to pull up another live if that does happen. If it does, I'll be right back with you. But they just did that. Brian Dable's gonna be up next. I haven't heard that they completed his second interview. He's also in the building as well. They're gonna be interviewing him for the head coach. Obviously, you already know if during these interviews, sometimes those questions will be asked if you don't get offered that head coaching position, would you be interested in another position, maybe just a little slightly lower position, offensive coordinator or something like that. My thing with this is I feel that the next head coach should make that decision. We tried to make that marriage last year with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, did not work out. I don't know how this would work out. If Davis Webb is like, oh, okay, yeah, I like the dude. I think he's a smart guy. We have a lot of the same philosophies. Cool. But if it's like, I don't know. Again, I talked about this earlier in the off season, early in the month. The head coach should pick his staff. Bring in the guys that he wants to go ahead and bring in, that he feels comfortable, that he wants to work with, and be able to implement his system, his style of football. Because this is the problem that we had literally this past season, that we don't know who was doing what. We don't know who was calling the shots. We're trying to go ahead and avoid that and really have that alignment of vision. The vision needs to be aligned. I'm gonna keep saying that until it happens. So in order for that to happen, everybody has to be on the same page. Front office shouldn't enforce that too much. The question could be asked, but it should be if they're going to bring in Webb, if that's the guy, he should say yes or no. really, and not to appease them. He should be like, "What do you got? What do you think about this guy? Is this guy somebody that you would be interested in working with as your offensive coordinator?" Those are the questions that need to be asked. So, yeah. Um, Let me see here. Go ahead and get your questions and comments in, guys. Again, I'm kind of keeping a lookout whether or not we hear anything about Davis Webb. He just wrapped up his interview with Spytech and Brady and maybe Mark. I think Mark probably was in that meeting as well. Um, per Adam Schefter, just wrapped it up. Brian Dable again in the building, um, doing the second interview as well. So we'll see what happens there. As of yet, nothing has been put out there. This was broadcasted 10 minutes ago. Like I said, during the live, they're probably doing that interview, and sure enough, yeah, that's what was happening for sure. Greg says this Super Bowl is a rematch of the 1 yard interception that the Patriots won. Seahawks got a chance to redeem themselves. Facts, bro. Like, what did it say? I don't know. I think somebody said it. I forgot a commentator said it. Like this time, if you're on that 1 yard line, you run that fucking ball in. Don't try to pass it. You know. Kenneth Walker having a really good game yesterday. I was pretty impressed with the type of game that he played yesterday. So him having a good game will be a good a good indicator of them having a success if they're in that same position again. But yeah, so again, uh, nothing as of yet for Clint Kubiak. I'm sorry for Davis Webb completing his second interview. Uh, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, nothing as of yet. All right, but let's see here. Greg says, I think Walker is a free agent as well. I don't know. I have to look that up. Let me see. Luckily, I have Spot Tracker. Yeah, yes, he is. He's going to be a free agent this off season. He's only 25 years old, so I think he's going to be 26 this season. So could be a good it could be a good complimentary piece, but maybe want to get somebody a little bit farther down. You could draft also as well. That's also a possibility going out and draft a running back in the late rounds as well. Hembley, he's a running back from Indiana. Probably would go good with a guy like Genty. So you kind of want to have that different dynamic, kind of that 1-2 punch like we did with Raheem Mozart. I don't think Mozart sticks around this year. I don't know. It just depends. That would be up to the head coach. So, but yeah, he is going to be a free agent. He's only 25 years old, but looks like his market value is he's a little bit on the steeper side. He's about around 8 million. He's probably going to ask about 10 to maybe 12, especially winning the Super Bowl. If they do win the Super Bowl, maybe you get them on that 10 side. If they don't win, we'll see. You can have that. Yeah, Brassock could be good as well with Genty Gibb. Okay. So yeah, he's available. He's around that 10 mil market value. That's kind of where they have him at. So again, I wouldn't spend a whole lot with these running backs. So you have Genty, he's good. We know where he's at. We just want a complimentary piece, so you go down a couple of notches on that part. But yeah, those guys will be available. If they decide to bring in Kenneth Walker or Bryce Hall, I'm not gonna be mad at it unless they pay an arm and leg for it, because that dips into our salary cap. So again, yeah, it depends what route they want to go ahead and go in there for sure. Let's see here. Yeah. So again, nothing as of yet. It just the second interview has been completed. But again, if anything happens, if there's an announcement made and has been made official, I'll go ahead and kick this thing back. I'll kick the live back on, and we'll go ahead and talk about it and see who could be potentially on his staff. On his staff as well. So if they decide to go ahead and go towards the direction with Sam Webb and go ahead and lock that coaching position up. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys. Again, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button on your boy on this channel. We got over 70 in the building. Salute to you guys. Appreciate you guys rocking with me. Hit that subscribe button, hit those likes. If you guys are next, jump on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe on your boy, hit that follow button. If you're on Raiders Twitter, hit that follow on your boy. I'm also trying to go ahead and grow that platform as well. Appreciate you guys rocking with me. Help me get the show out into the multiple platforms out there. Salute to you guys. Again, make sure you guys also follow me on the IG. JRaider_505. That's JRaider_505. Like on the banner below and up top. Make sure you guys go ahead and tap in later this week with the Raider Connection. I'll be on with the fellas, Jeff, my guy Cheetah Linus, and LB Raider 10 Nate will be rocking this Wednesday. We'll talk about the head coach search, if it's still going on, if there's a new head coach announcement that gets made, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the upcoming Super Bowl with these two teams. We'll give you guys our takes and our analysis on the game coming up and the games that were played this past Sunday on those championship games on Championship Sunday that we just went through. And if there's still no head coach, we'll talk about that and give you guys our take on who we want as the next head coach. So we'll definitely tap in with that. So make sure you guys go ahead and pull up for that show every damn Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East. So make sure you guys go ahead and pull up for that one. Turn on your notifications. Again, turn on your notifications. If anything happens between now and the rest of the night, tomorrow, I'm going to go live. Maybe on solo, maybe on with some of the guys. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and do the damn thing. So make sure you guys turn on your notifications. Stay up to date on everything Raiders related. You already know, Just Raiders. Trying to go ahead and get you guys everything Raiders. Every Raider content, Raider news. Go ahead and I try to bring you guys the best stuff available and try to keep you guys updated on everything going down as well. But other than that, appreciate you guys. That is my time for tonight. Again, I'll jump on if anything happens from now till Wednesday, or if it happens before early Wednesday, I'll go ahead and kick up the live as well. We'll go ahead and talk about it. All right. But appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Again, always remember, Just Raiders. Till next time, y'all. Peace.
J Raider, the creator with the killer content, hot takes and the dopest. Gas Raider Nation, from Oakland to LA to in Vegas. Nothing greater than the Raiders, only facts. Just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders. Stand up. Just Raiders, just Raiders, just Raiders. Welcome to the channel. It's called Just Raiders, baby. If you ain't subscribed, then you gotta try. Just Raiders, baby, nothing but love for the Raiders. Been an OG before 93. Shout out to the nation, they always crazy. So nation, ride with me, taking over my style. It's amazing, making hits like Max on the blitz. The silver and black, on the attack. They on the map, if you a fan and you with that. J Raider, the creator with the killer content, hot takes and the dopest. Gas Raider Nation, from Oakland to LA to in Vegas. Nothing greater than the Raiders, only facts. Just rag, 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 just Raiders. Putting on shows like Brock on the go. We just like Jay Raider, the innovator, making shows like Good Morning Raiders, the originator. Raiders unfiltered, raw, never censored. The post-game reaction, nothing but action. Just Raiders, baby. Just Raiders. Just Raiders, baby. Jay Raider, the creator with the killer content. Hot takes and the dopest, yes. Raider Nation, the only nation. There ain't no question.
Just win, baby.
Win, baby. Just win.